What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and some more epic battles here for Black Powder, and specifically the Napoleonic campaign or the Waterloo campaign. And we have Bonaparte's French army starter set here. So as we've seen in some of our other videos here, right, we've taken a look at the different French cavalry sets and the infantry. Now we're taking a look at the bad boy for the French here, the actual starter army. So lots and lots of minis in this. So again, starter set here is going to have some rule book, or have the rule book, some scenery things and flags as well, and just a crap load of minis, right? So we're going to flip this bad boy over for a second here. Again, pretty hefty weight on this thing. But anyway, so here's a rundown real quick of what we all get in there. So French infantry, so we're going to have 800 line or light infantry, 80 skirmishing voltigeurs, and 10 mounted commanders. French heavy cavalry, so basically 4 bases of cuirassiers, 3 bases of carabiniers, and 3 bases of dragoons. Then light cavalry, so basically included in this, in addition to just the ton of infantry, basically, as we've seen separately with the heavy and light cavalry boxes that we've done, the brigade boxes, basically we get like a brigade of those all in here as well. I think minus specifically the artillery, but we do get a ton of artillery. Here's 10-foot artillery, 6-pounder, and then 6-horse artillery, 6-pounders. Bases for everything. Again, that's a lot of the weight in here as well. We get a small, or an A5 Black Powder Epic Battles Waterloo campaign book, assembly and painting guide, flag sheets for everything, and then a small MDF piece here, which I think is probably going to be that one right there. And then 6 dice, which again, nice that they include those, but really not something that we necessarily need. You know, if you're picking this up in gaming, you probably already have plenty of 6-siders. But anyway, the cool thing with these sets, so they clock in around, I think, 140, 145-ish retail. But basically, each of them has more than 1,000 soldiers. And in contrast to what they did for Civil War, where everything was in one massive box, which I think still had like 3,000 minis, which is craziness. Here they decided to split things up and have like specific army starters, which I think is probably the better way to go, right? Because not everybody necessarily wants to jump in on one of those, much larger boxes. So this is, I think, at a pretty good price point, and really, you can say, hey, there's 1,000 minis in here, right? Lots and lots of stuff. So, basically everything that we got in the picture here, and that is certainly going to be a lot. And honestly, if this still isn't enough for you to start off with, as we've seen in our other videos, just pick up a couple of the extra brigade boxes and you've got a lot to keep you busy. But anyway, we're going to get this open and sorted for you guys, and then we'll be right back. All right, guys, we got everything sorted out for you. So, and as you can see, we have a mountain of stuff that the box contains here. So, starting off again, our flag sheet. So, plenty of things here, plenty of variety for infantry and cavalry, should we want to add all the banners and flags on there. So, we get our French painting guide here. So, let's take a look at that. So, interestingly here, the way they've chosen to format this, step 1 is actually like on the back page. So I don't know if that's just a screw up or how they wanted to do that, or I guess probably flip it like this, but I don't know. Anyway, so just a guide on how to rapidly progress through this and get a pretty decent standard going. Again, there's going to be some different schools of thought on how to do all that, but we leave that up to everybody individually. And a guide too, which is, this will actually be really helpful, is just some different guides to, like, I think, regiment markings and all that stuff, because you certainly, I don't think, want literally every last regiment and unit or whatever looking exactly the same. Just makes things, I think, much easier to tell apart, right? So that, I think, is a neat little touch there. And certainly just learning about some of those differences is also a pretty cool experience as well. So the difference between the cavalry, the infantry, skirmishers, and so on. So I love that little guide. Our terrain piece here from Sarissa, gosh. So DeCoster's house, 15 mil. So pretty easy affair. And they give you also a painting guide as well. So love that we include a little bit of that. And then on to the mountain of blue plastic, right? So again, if you've seen our separate brigade videos, so here we have 3 of the light cavalry sprues. And again, we're not going to go as in detail on this one as in those videos, but as you can see, Warlord has done a fantastic job on the details here. Let's actually get some of these out of the way, just so we don't have more in the background here. But I think overall, again, Warlord is just knocking it out of the park. Detail at this scale here is fantastic. Again, we get our different flavors of light cavalry, artillery included there. So basically, the big box here has, basically one of each of the cavalry brigades in it, essentially, and then multiples of the infantry. So I think like 3 infantry brigades or something like that, or more. But altogether, again, we get basically over 1,000 minis. So lots and lots to paint. But anyway, so 3 of the light cavalry, the heavy cav, as we can see there, and yet more artillery. So all of these should be just an absolute blast to paint up. Again, how detailed you want to get, that's certainly up to you. If you just want to basically get like basic tabletop quality, 3 colors or so on there, but certainly you do have the possibility here with just how much detail they've captured to, go a little bit more in depth and make stuff really pop on the tabletop. So that is the cavalry. Then again, a mountain of infantry here. We kind of separate the mountains. So we get, what do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So basically 10 sprues of infantry here. And again, similar to our brigade box video on the infantry, so pretty simple affair here. Multiple stands of infantry. Skirmishers are on here. The Voltigeurs are commanders, and then our artillery as well. And again, you can see, right, we've got just very, very crisp detail on everything here. Nothing is like a blob or featureless. That's just pretty damn sharp. So whatever they're doing to achieve that, fantastic. Kudos to Warlord. Again, as we mentioned in our other brigade unboxing videos, love to see what else they're coming out with for this. Obviously, we got multiple waves coming ahead of us here for the Napoleonics and getting the other factions and making sure every faction itself has, all their possible units and stuff like that. But then, taking a look at the other eras that Warlord already covers with things like Hail Caesar and SPQR, so ancients at this scale, like mass battles, would be absolutely phenomenal. Things like, again, jumping into later medieval times, so, the Crusades, certainly, just pick a conflict, basically. I think in most things at epic scale would be pretty damn cool. So, 100 Years War, we'd love to see, like, some of the early, types of artillery, like, it'd be amazing to see like trebuchets and stuff in the epic scale. What else? 30 Years War, different wars for in the Asian theater. So essentially, all the different battles for Japan, the Chinese. I mean, you just pick something, and there's probably something that could be really cool at those time periods that Warlord's already kind of covering in 28 mil. I know they don't, have miniatures necessarily for every last thing at that scale, but epic, I think, would be a way to go for a lot of those things as well, because you can pack so much on each sprue here and really just, again, as we've seen, capture fantastic detail. It'd be interesting to see, again, if we do get things like, pike and shot era things, or even like more of the ancients with like, the Greeks, I'm thinking the Macedonians with the pikes and everything, so like how they would handle like the plastic pikes at this, and hopefully like not have them be so flimsy that they would just constantly snap or something, but it'd be interesting to see how they pull that off somehow. So overall, again, so we get 10 sprues of the infantry with the skirmishers, so another mountain of stuff here. Again, we get our little set of dice, and just to bring it in so you guys can see how much stuff there is. You get this mountain of green plastic for all your bases, right? So if we can grab it here as one, and show you guys, right? That is just a lot of stuff here. So what we got? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, I think 16 bases here, sprues for the bases. So again, great way to start. I think I prefer what they did here as opposed to Civil War, where it was just one giant box, but again, you only had two sides to it, so it kind of made sense to do it for Civil War. So I like that. Again, each faction or each nation here has their own army starter, or will have their own army starter as we get past just the French and Brits, certainly. So, but anyway, definitely, great way to start. Obviously, especially if you don't already play Black Powder, this has everything in there that you need to get started and then some, right? 1,000 minis to start off with is a lot to work on. Brigades will fill out whatever else you feel like you don't have or want to expand into. But again, getting a little bit of terrain in here, the assembly guide, and certainly the book, which again is sort of refocused from the main Black Powder book into doing things here at this epic scale. Great inclusion. I think again, 140, 145-ish price point at retail. I'm sure you can find it a little bit cheaper online or whatever. Gives you a hell of a value. So again, really, really good stuff here from Warlord. But let us know your thoughts, guys, in the comments. Have you already picked up either the American Civil War and continued on to this, just jumping in for the first time, or hesitant at playing this Black Powder era, or in the scale? Hit us up in the comments, questions, or just general thoughts. What else would you like to see they get to for the Napoleonics here, but also the other eras that we talked about? So just hit us up in the comments as always, guys. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll have more coming here as we start clipping away and putting this mountain of stuff onto bases and getting stuff painted. So stay tuned, guys. We'll have more in the future for you. Take care.